Over the last few years, digital night vision technology has undergone quite a few advancements. Once characterized by bulky and laggy devices solely reliant on IR light, digital NV has more recently evolved into compact helmet-mountable binoculars with low-light sensors designed for operation without IR. Despite all this, and due to technological limitations, digital night vision has always fallen short of matching the performance of modern analog systems until arguably now. In my opinion, the new G14SE from ADNV is the first contender for helmet-mounted digital NV that can hold its own against some analog technologies. This device was sent out to me on loan for a little bit over a month from Goodnight Gear. Goodnight Gear is not the manufacturer but a seller of the ADNV G14SE. There was no exchange of money and I have no affiliate links with them. I will include a link to them in the description and a code to make this cheaper, but know I make no money from it and I am not required to make a positive or biased review for them. If you have any questions about this process or want to reach out to me, hit me up on my email and my channel or leave a comment. To put this in perspective for the rest of the video, these go for around $1,600 shipped from Goodnight Gear with their US stock using the code GNG10, or around $1,330 from China with a month of shipping time. As of writing, the only way that it seems to get these easily is Goodnight Gear. Price considerations will be heavily discussed in the opinion section. Getting right into features and controls from the top down. The ADNV G14SE housing is made out of a rugged feeling polymer. The NVG is incredibly short with a length of only 85 millimeters or 3.3 inches. That's 1.2 inches shorter than the already compact PVS-14. The G14SE weighs 226 grams without a battery, 244 grams with a 16340, and 280 grams with a 18650 battery. The NVG has a 12mm 1x lens. It can be focused by rotating the lens. The device has a very short throw and changes focus very quickly compared to other digital NV units I have used. Moving down is the IR illuminator. This is very dim and is more for map reading and administrative tasks than navigation. Below the IR illuminator is the 9-pin connector. This can be used to charge the device, connect to a battery pack, or connect to the external recorder, and possibly more in the future. To the left of the 9-pin connector is the battery compartment. In the short battery compartment setup, the G14 can take either a rechargeable 16340 or a standard CR123A to get 4.5 batteries or 2 hours of battery life, respectively. The G14SE comes with an extended battery compartment cap that allows it to take a rechargeable 18650 to get an advertised 19 hours of battery life. If you know anything about digital night vision, you know that these numbers are pretty incredible compared to the NVG30, NVG10, and Nightfox Prowl. Each one of those devices get around 5 hours of battery life with an 18650. While that is still impressive in my opinion, remember that analog systems in this 1.6 to 1.9K price range have around 40 hours of battery life off a CR123A, which this device only gets around 2 to 2.5 hours on. On the side of the device is standard PVS-14 style threads for mounting. Due to the fact that screens on digital devices are rectangular, the mount has to put the device in proper orientation to keep the screen level. The G14SE includes a metal dovetail bridge that can be used to attach the device to a helmet, or bridge another device to the binocular. We will talk about the bridge later on. Moving on to the back of the device, starting with the ocular lens. The eyepiece can be adjusted with the diopter from -4D to +4D and has an advertised eye relief of 20 millimeters. Below the eyepiece is the control knob. This knob controls every feature on the NVG. Holding down on the control knob turns on the device. Double-clicking activates the IR illuminator. By rotating the knob clockwise, you can turn up the brightness of the image in turn for more noise. Rotating the knob in the opposite direction lowers the amount of noise and brightness. Pressing down on the control knob opens the menu. Rotating the knob moves you left and right throughout the menu, and clicking on it selects the setting you want to adjust. In the settings you can change the intensity of the IR illuminator, adjust screen brightness, change FPS to 100 down to 50, take a photo or video if the remote jack is installed, adjust contrast and sharpness. The screen is an 800 by 600 OLED display with a selectable 50 or 100 FPS refresh rate. This gives it a 40 degree by 30 degree true 1x FOV. In the field of view of the device is the HUD. This tells you if the IR illuminator is on, the battery life of the device, and the FPS mode that you are on. Onto the packaging and the mount. The G14SE comes in a black carrying case that is similar to the Opson's bag if you've ever used one. The bag's quality is not fantastic, but it gets the job done. Inside the bag is a sling, an 18650 and 16340 battery, a USB to 9-pin connector, a charger, the 18650 battery extender, the NVG, and the mount. The included mount is made out of aluminum and is pretty configurable.
Quick interjection, this is on the mount. I kind of wanted to show how versatile this could be. This would be a really cool system, but basically, as I kind of showed, there's different ways that you can set your monocular to. So this is in the horizontal configuration, right? So that hooks in and basically sets the screen to lay horizontally when it's set flat, right? If you want to change that, all you have to do is just remove this screw. If you want to remove that, you just have to remove the screw. This orientation come out so you can see right side horizontal. So this one is right side vertical. You just slip that back on, put in that screw, then now this screws in at this point. There you go. Now it screws on in this point. So, well, you'd actually want to have it on the other side, but basically now it's a vertical up and down when you have it like that. Kind of interesting.
I personally use the horizontal arm for the length of the review period. As this is a bridge, I was able to run this as a dual tube setup with my Gen 2 Plus monocular for a bit, as it used the same mounting pitch as standard analog monoculars. I was able to get depth perception out of it. This doesn't work for everyone, but it worked for me. The arms on the bridge articulate and have adjustable IPD stops. The back of the bridge has holes for bungees for retention or tension on your helmet. The mount uses a dovetail connection that had great fitment with my Sotac G14. I'll get more into this later, but I really like this mount and the fact that it comes with this device. Continuing on to performance. This is where things get interesting. The G14SE uses a second generation high performance BSI CMOS solid state 2/3 inch sensor. This sensor has a spectral sensitivity from 400 nanometers to 1100 nanometers. The ADNV sensor can detect light 200 nanometers higher in a wavelength than most modern Gen 3 tubes. In the pro and con section of this video, I will discuss the advantages of this expanded wavelength. According to my own and others' testing, the G14 series has around 4 to 5 milliseconds of lag in its 100 FPS mode. This is an extreme improvement for digital night vision. For comparison, the NVG30 in its 40 FPS mode has around 100 milliseconds of lag, and I consider that device very usable once you get adjusted to the small delay. To further put that into context, the NVG10 has a little over 200 milliseconds of lag, and I found that way too much for anything more than static observation or light plinking. The PVS69 had incredibly low lag with around 20 milliseconds of delay. This video is sponsored by MWNVG. They are currently running a sale on their helmets. I've been running an OpsCore Fast SF Carbon from them recently, and I've been loving it. If you're in the market for a new quality helmet at a good price, go to MWNVG.com and use ES5 for 5% off a helmet. Back to the video. A few things to note before I show the performance and compare it to other devices. I will be comparing this to a Gen 2 Plus analog tube, as these are in a very similar price bracket. The analog tube is a 3D printed monocular with a Photonis XD4 Fat Anvis inverter image intensifier tube with a minimum SNR of 22 and a minimum resolution of 64. The monocular has CK Optics lightweight PVS14 style glass. Setups that perform similar to this go for around 1,250 used if you look in the right places. I will also be comparing this to the NVG30, as it is my current favorite budget NVG. These go for around $400 to $500 depending on where you look and are color digital monoculars. On to issues, starting with the external recorder. One of the nice features of digital night vision as a whole is the ability to record POV easily. For the ADNV, this is not quite the case. While it is easier to do than analog night vision, it is still quite janky. This is the RS2 recorder. To record anything on the ADNV, you have to plug this into the 9-pin connector on the front, and route the cables onto the back of your helmet. Once the RS2 is plugged into the device and powered on, you can use the menu to start recording or take a picture. These pictures and videos are then stored on the recorder itself. I have had several issues and gripes with the RS2. For gripes, first of all, the recorder is not included with the G14SE and has to be purchased elsewhere for an additional $100 to $140 roughly. The recorder records to the box itself and not a removable SD. This bothers me as other leading digital NV systems such as the Opsin or NV G30 have built-in free recording that goes directly onto the onboard SD card. I'm sure ADNV has their reasons for this, but I would hope a V2 has onboard recording. As to problems, first of all, the RS2 broke during the review. The pin connector had a pin fallout under normal use, and after that I could not even get the files off the recorder. Because of that, a lot of first-person video was lost. Even before the RS2 broke, it would record an incredibly strange encoding that required me to download a new player to even get the video to load. The whole recorder system needs a major rework as it's clunky, overcomplicated, and fragile. The lens flare this device gets is awful. If a light source is just out of the FOV of the lens, it will flare up terribly, nearly making an image unusable. In the woods, and for 95% of my normal use, this wasn't an issue, but when near a lot of ambient light, it gets terribly bad. A large lens shroud could possibly negate this issue, but personally, I think the lens just needs a rework to prevent this. I've talked to other ADNV owners, including P2 owners, and this remains the case with every single ADNV G14 unit I have seen. I've been talking on forums quite a bit about the G14SE, and I actually ran across Hype, the maker of the video that I previously mentioned, on a Discord server, and he has had direct lines of communication with the engineers at ADNV and was able to actually have an interview with them. He has a video about that whole experience that I'll link in the description as well, but pretty much they're talking about hopefully in the next further models, not the current one that I have or the ones that are being issued by Goodnight, sold by Goodnight Gear. Hopefully in the next coming models, they'll have improved coatings to reduce the hazing and flaring, and also they'll have internal recording. So they're already addressing my two biggest issues, so I'm just really happy to hear that, and I just wanted to mention that in this video. On to opinions. Now, before I play the whole opinions section that I have edited and put together, I just want to really stress some of my opinions on the performance of this device. It is pretty incredible that we have digital night vision that can perform at that early Gen 2 Plus level. That is amazing. The tube that was shown in the video has roughly between 1400 to 1600 FOM, and probably closer to the 1400 end. It is amazing that we have a digital technology that is competing with that. Now, something that you can't really show on camera is what it is like to use it. I was having a really hard time verbalizing this, but once again, Hype, who, at this point has helped a lot in this video, verbalizes it perfectly. Most of this actually is shown in the brightness of the scene. I would just pause it and read this, and I totally agree with him. Last two things, some of you guys might bring up the Opsin as another digital night vision unit that can compete with analog NVGs. And while I agree it does on performance and everything, the cost is quite prohibitive on that, where you can buy, once again, really good Gen 3 used technologies at that price. And even then, I would say the performance is not as good as the G14SE in my experience. I never was able to use them back to back, but the G14SE, in my opinion, is a much more refined product, being able to take PVS-14 mounts and not needing a battery pack. It just feels much more user-friendly than the Opsin. And last thing, before I move on, I always like letting people know this. I read every single comment you guys leave, and if it's a question, 99% of the time I respond to you with any information you need to the question, as long as it's legible. So I love reading your comments. I read every one. So if you have any questions about my experience with it, or you want to leave some insight that you guys have, please do. Yeah, let's get right into opinions.
Form factor, super cool. You can really easily fit this into your pocket if you want to walk around somewhere with it. I just really like that. It's super low profile compared to other night vision. It sits really, really flat, and that's just one of the advantages of digital night vision currently, just due to standardized tube sizing and glass with analog. So super light, low profile, super nice. It's just super handy. And the other thing about it is it's just stupid cool. I don't know how I know how they do it. It's digital technology, but it's just so cool looking. I can't get over it. I don't know why. Like, this is the NVG30. I liked that they switched over to this profile over the NVG10, but like, I don't like really I don't hate how it looks, but it doesn't look cool. This just looks cool. I don't know why. Just like the size, it being super tiny, compact, it's a look, super neat. It stands out against analog monoculars, but it doesn't look ugly like a lot of the digital ones. This is for sure the next step in digital night vision. Kind of the whole thing I went on is saying that this might not be what you're into or might not be what you're looking for right now, but you should 100% pay attention to ADNV and the company named Brigates. I just have a feeling. I don't have any like insider knowledge being a YouTuber. I know everything that people can find on YouTube, like Google, but I just have a feeling that those companies are going to make some really cool stuff down the line. So if you're not into this now, what I'm basically trying to say, in my opinion, you should check out and like look out for products that these companies are coming with, because if these are their first iterations that are hitting like the US market, that's going to be crazy cool. Next thing, the controls are fantastic on this device. After using the Jerry 30 once, I became a really big fan of having a knob control everything, and I already explained how to use it, but it's just so nice and simple. The way I like explaining controls, in my opinion, is I like them being easy and accident-free, pretty much. I want them to be easily accessible, easily adaptable, especially for something that has a lot of settings like digital night vision. But I also don't want them to be accidentally changed when I'm hiking, getting stuff moved out of the car. That's a big deal to me. So pretty much these fit the description perfectly. One place to control everything, super nice, clicky, tactile, and I have not had any issues with settings getting controlled on accident. Next thing that's awesome, battery life is getting better. I pretty much talk about how this gave the NVG30 5 hours of battery life. In my opinion, for a hobbyist device that is acceptable, airsoft, just pack extra batteries, it is less than ideal. This battery, with the extended cap here, 19 hours. That is incredible, especially for digital. That is the step in the next direction and is super efficient. Like, comparing that to other digital is insane. We're kind of bridging that gap. Now, remember analog with an 18650 battery, something that's like half the size of this, like imagine that much battery, can power an analog device for 40 hours. And I've heard some that can power even up to 75 hours. So just know that there are some comparisons to be made there, right? But pretty much what I'm saying is I'm really happy that we're headed in that right direction of expanding battery life and not just using more battery life to get less, to get more performance, like the opposite. We're making battery life better and also improving performance. That's what I want to see. And also, big thing on that, I know I keep on talking about battery life, but we're doing this now. I like how many batteries this can take. This can take CR123As, 16340s, and also 18650s. Super versatile. Like, I don't really see a time where you can't find one of those somewhere at this point, right? So, pretty nice. I guess those aren't really carried by grocery stores, but they're very common batteries, and all of them work to their varying amount of success. Negative opinions, switch positioning is kind of annoying. I already talked about this in my issues area, but pretty much it gets in the way if my nose touches it, agitates it if I want to get proper eye relief. So I pretty much have to run it on my left eye the whole time. I don't know if other people have experiences with that, but it is quite agitating. In my ideal world, they would switch the switch right there to where the 9-port cable is and just put this cable either on like the side or bottom. That would be ideal to me. The cable wouldn't be annoying to have to attach to the front, and the switch would be able to be adjusted to the side while getting a flat back. Last major opinion, and I think this is actually nearly an issue, so I might touch up it in issues, is the screen brightness. This screen is way too bright. It causes a lot of eye strain and becomes pretty uncomfortable after 30 minutes to an hour. Not like unbearable, but it is just not as uncomfortable as my analog or even the ADNV G30 at times. I kind of feel like it's at full blast even when it's on its lowest setting. You can make this less bright by going into contrast and turning your contrast down. But if you turn down your contrast gets killed, and then you can't see as much. So double-edged sword, but I'm like, if you can make the screen less bright, well, like, let's just maintain contrast. Like, I don't know. That's a big deal to me. I really want them to improve that if they want this to be really, really competitive with analog, because analog, you can really, especially on manual gain devices, you can keep it pretty comfortable. And in my experience, like even with my Gen 2 Plus, I know it's a low gain device, so you're not getting as much brightness. It's super comfortable to use on super extended amounts of time. For this, even on the lowest brightness setting, I still feel like I'm just getting punched in the face with photons. That's pretty much all my major opinions. I might not even post the other section. I might go through it because I feel like I did a pretty good job here. Yeah, I'm gonna make a whole price section now. That should be good enough. This device is gonna be kind of hard to beat for the price on the new market, meaning you're buying this brand new from the factory, right? From Goodnight Gear. So once again, telling you guys, I make no money from Goodnight Gear. The only thing he does is send me products. Some of them I keep, and in return he gets a video, right? This is not a product I keep. I send this back to him. I'm not required to make a good review. I just have to make a video. That's pretty much it. For his website, they're 1.8, and I want to make this pretty clear. At 1.8, I don't think this is worth it. Using his code, you can get it down to 1,600 and some change, and that's when this kind of becomes more interesting. So 1,600 and some change, you're not going to be able to find another unit new consistently, at least, that can compete with this. This is on par, in my experience, with the roughly 1,400 to mid 1,600 FOM Gen 2 Plus tubes that I've used. And that's really good. Like this, we gotta admire this for what it is. Maybe not as a product to buy, but at least as a technological advancement. This is digital night vision that can compete with some of the analog night vision on the market right now, right? Like, let's consider that, right? Another thing that you get included in the kind of whole package is the mount, right? This is gonna add some value to your like night vision unit, right? Because when you buy pretty much any NVG from any retailer, they're not gonna include a mount. You're gonna have to buy your own. And this dovetail to J-arm mount is actually really fantastic. I used it a lot for not only my the G14, but also my analog tube, right? I bridged them. The articulation's nice and smooth. It's nice and easy to move, but not too easy. It's a great mount. Like, I actually would be like willing to pay money to buy this mount. It's nice and easy. Right, so in that $1,600 range, good value, good performance for new. Now let's get into where some of the negative opinions come out. So $1,600 new compared to new analog devices is decent. You're not going to really be able to find new analog devices. Used analog devices, though, $1,600 is like the minimum for really good analog devices. I'm interrupting from the future to kind of re-explain this just because I want to make this as clear as possible, because I feel like this is kind of the big part of this device is its price point, right? So that $1,600 range that the G14SE is at, for its price as a new device, is absolutely fantastic. It's great. For other new devices, it's going to be pretty hard to get a consistent new device at that price point. But as I just said, for used, there's a huge market kind of at this starting price point. So kind of in the video later after this, I'll kind of say $1,600 to $1,800, but I'm going to kind of get prices set straight right now. So Omni 6 to Omni 8 Gen 3 PVS 14s with mil spec. So this is one right here. This is on a clone Noise Fighter J-arm. This is a Omni 8 PVS 14. This one's made by Elbit. The cage code matches a Elbit serial number. These are absolutely fantastic. So pretty much on the used market right now, I would say a Omni 8 on Discord, Facebook, that kind of marketplace. You know, slightly salty, not quite brand new, can consistently go for right around 1,800 to $2,000. And that's like, if you make a want to buy post, you say, I want to buy Omni 8 PVS 14, I have this much money, you can just buy one. Someone will likely sell it to you. I have seen better deals though, and for Omni 7, which you know you can argue are better tubes than Omni 8, I saw one just the other day go for $1,700, and I've seen Omni 6s go for $1,600. So that is kind of that price range that we're looking at. Why I'm saying that is because the Gen 3 PVS 14 with mil-spec glass, you know, manual gain, all those fancy features, these things are rugged, proven, reliable. These are like, you know, duty grade night vision. These are going for only $100 to $200 more than the ADNV on its discounted price. And they're way, way better. I've been running this Omni 8 recently, and I don't have the ADNV to compare right now. It's back with Goodnight gear. And, like, this is a fantastic tube. Fantastic. Comparing it to, like, my Photonis XD4, this is extremely comparable to the ADNV. You saw it in the video. Completely blows this out of the water in a lot of cases, especially clarity and gain. And glass, like, it's just a substantially better option. And why I'm saying that is for, you know, the following reason. How much more do you value a new product over performance and proven capability, right? This is a new product. I have a sample size of 1. I liked it. It worked well compared to my Gen 2 Plus analog PVS 14, right? Is it going to be hard to find new analog devices at that price point, even for Gen 2 Plus? Yeah. But finding used Gen 3 PVS 14s with like mil-spec glass, mil-spec housings, I mean, these things have been being issued for like the Omni 8 contract, which is on the nicer end. If you find an Omni 8 for $1,600, you're pushing it, but Omni 8s for $1,800, pretty common. If you find like an Omni 8 PVS 14, Gen 3 PVS 14, that thing is gonna smoke this and also have 40 hours of battery life, and it's proven, right? The only issue is you gotta buy used. So I'm kind of presenting this as a double-edged sword, right? The whole idea of digital night vision, I feel like right now is, how can we make night vision cheaper? And this is cheaper than the option, cheaper than new to analog, but I have a hard time putting it in a place as a consumer. I know a lot of people that just want to go online, order something, have it to their door. If that's you, this is a good option for $1,600. You can do that. If you want to get like max performance for dollars, this is not at all your option. Your option is getting a Gen 3 used PVS 14 off Reddit or Discord. That is like your option. I should just leave it as kind of cold as that. If you got $1,600 and you just want something easy to get this, right? Just from online. Like, that's not a bad choice. But if you actually want to chase performance and capability, you should kind of do some research and buy something off Discord or Reddit, in my opinion. But also, it's like $1,600. That's a lot of money. I feel like you should be doing your research. The last thing I kind of want to say on pricing is, like, if you want this because you just think it's cool, then just get it. It is a legitimately cool piece of tech. They're super tiny. It's kind of like this first start of this next generation of digital night vision. You can just justify things to buy them because they're cool. It's expensive. If you want better performance, if you're willing to buy used, as I keep on saying, there are better options used that will outperform this substantially. But if you just think this is cool, totally get this. This is a super cool piece of tech, and it's also completely not useless at all. This definitely holds up its own in performance. Like, it is a solid and really cool device. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. This video has been in the works for so long. I'm really tried my best to make it as high quality as I can, because it is such a new device on the market with, you know, pretty high price point for a digital device, and it's something really exciting. So I really put my work into it and just wanted, you know, to get it best out there. So if you're here, I really appreciate that. Any comments that you want to like leave, I really appreciate those. I read every single one of them and I reply to most. If it's a positive comment, I'll guarantee you'll get a heart or something like that. That's just, I read every single one. I love feedback, so if there's something about this video that you really liked, I'd love to hear it. If there's something about this video that you just didn't like at all, let me know. If you're going to dislike this video, please tell me why. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't mind a dislike. It's good feedback, but just, like, let me know what you didn't like so I can improve it for the next one. As always, what's coming up next? I really want to make, like, a budget night vision buyer's guide. And, like, we're taking it from, like, zero, you know, no money, and, like, probably all the way up to four grand, which is, like, the end of budget night vision, you know, but that's like the budget analog stuff where you're getting into, you know, high-end monocular or like low-end duals. Like, I'd love to make a super comprehensive like video series, and I thought there's like no way to start that better but than the budget Gen 2 Plus. So next couple in the next few videos, hopefully there'll be next few videos that get released, there should be a video out on almost like not quite a build guide, but like how I built this, you know, all about getting Gen 2 Plus for hopefully under $1,300. So yeah, that's kind of like the big thing that's coming up. There's some more things. Let's see, Night Operators Fusion. I have one video on that, should be out later in November, hopefully. We'll see. What else? Yeah, Vivon GL4 Pro. Video on that coming soon. Very positive. I love that device. It is fantastic for the money. Besides that, there shouldn't be too much else stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the works, but like for videos that will be coming out soon, that's kind of like the last big two after this one. Yeah, as always though, I say it 100 times, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys are the people that make this this all possible. It is so cool that I get to do this as, you know, part of my job, and it's just fantastic. I'm so happy and lucky that this is just how things turned out. So thank you for watching here. I really appreciate it. A lot of really cool stuff coming soon, and yeah, let me know if you guys want to see anything or just ask any questions. I really appreciate it. Yeah.